From the beginning of time and the commencement of the universe, you have heard it said.
Never go for retard.
Just a while ago though, when George Galloway visited Malaysia, Rex Tan from FMT did not follow that advice. Sapoops, George Galloway came to Malaysia to deliver a lecture titled Gaza Exposes the Complicity of International Actors, and midway as he was glazing Malaysia for boycotting to make us feel slightly better about not being taken seriously, FMT's Rex Tan asked this genius question.
I'm a journalist from Free Malaysia Today. I think you should rightly observe the parallel between the Palestinian problem and the Chinese problem in Malaya.
What Chinese problem?
Where both are British colonial legacy problem, where the Palestinians are seen as the interloper among the Zionists, while the Chinese, at the time the population, which is about 50% of Malaya, was seen as aliens. So, and sadly, this xenophobic mentality is still around today. And I must say, it is way more of a serious magnitude in Palestine. So I want to ask a more introspective question. I think currently what we are facing here is due to a rather right-wing exclusive nationalism, essentially some sort of a xenophobic mentality that really see people as us and them. And as much as some of the Malay Muslim pro-Palestinian supporters here, they hate the extremist right Zionism, but they themselves also often espouse, anti-immigrants or or rather exclusive nationalism idea in this country.
What does this have to do with Gaza?
How can we deal with this rather exclusive way of seeing ourselves and the people around us? Because I think that I agree with you a lot of things that, like you say, it has to be the Palestinians themselves that fight it and all that, and then the Muslim in the world, they have to provide the solidarity for the hammer to really smash the Zionist machinery. But still, I think it boils down to the human heart that, you cannot tolerate or you want to live exclusively. So that's my question. Thank you.
What answer does he want?
I don't think you do your cause any favor by comparing yourself to the Palestinians. The Palestinians are the most savagely repressed people on the earth. Now, I haven't been over all of Kuala Lumpur today, but I didn't see any tanks. I didn't see any guns. I didn't see any trucks. I didn't see any special roads for special people. I didn't see any of the things that you allude to. I may have missed something. I'm not an expert on the question that you have raised. And as I'm leaving here for China in 2 days' time, and in China I spend now most of my time and earn my living, I'm the last person who could be accused of xenophobia or xenophobia. I hate nationalism. But the comparison that you make is, I think you'll agree on reflection, a grotesque one. It bears no relation to the reality of your society. As far as I can see, the Chinese do quite well in Malaysia because of their hard work, because of their business expertise. Chinese do well everywhere, including China. And God bless them. And they will always have a friend in me. Nobody could be more pro-China than me. But to suggest, as you did, that this is an apartheid society, comparative to the society we're talking about this evening, is, I think, unfortunate and a little bit embarrassing. And so I shan't spend any more time on it.
Youch. You can see that FMT has come out tagging Fahmi Fadzil and SKMM, probably by their advice, making a full-on public apology, image by image, as Rex's little assertion becomes a full-on self-fulfilling prophecy, as you can see right in the comments. Yup, not the brightest question in the world about one of the most sensitive topics that you could possibly talk about in the entire history of the world. And I just have to ask two questions. Number one, what was Rex even trying to get out of this line of questioning? See, it's absolutely true that there are these right-wingers, the people who scream pendatang day in and day out. But clearly, Malaysia as a society is much better off than Palestine. That's an objective fact, regardless of which side of the conflict you support, if you even support a side in the first place. And I'm just wondering, what would have been the journalistic payoff? What story would you have actually been able to get from this? I don't know. I still don't know. I guess we'll never know the answer, but I guess not that it matters because it was a dumb question in the first place. And number two, why was he so horrible at fact-checking? And let me tell you why I'm asking the second question. I'm asking the second question because I think he didn't check his facts, which, I wonder what journalists are supposed to do for work. Anybody? Anybody? So the Zionists don't think of Palestinians as pendatangs. That's literally wrong on three different levels in terms of how the Zionists see the Palestinians, how countries like Malaysia see the story of the Palestinians, and it's also wrong by history. See, if you were somebody who came over as a Jewish person for the Aliyah, and after the Balfour Declaration, you wouldn't think of the Palestinians as pendatangs either. The standard narrative in Malaysia and on all of those Instagram feeds like Eye on Palestine, Middle East Monitor, etc. is that basically the Palestinians were really kind to the Zionist people. They welcomed them into their home, but then the Jewish people repaid their kindness with cruelty and kicked them out of their own home. A lot of people in Malaysia believe this narrative, and from their perspective, the Palestinians are not the pendatangs, the Zionists are. So if you're going in and saying that the Palestinians are seen as pendatang, that's not accurate. But now let me tell you about the real story, which is actually more interesting. See, right, what we now call Palestine actually used to be a place called Judea. But what happened was that once upon a time, during the rule of Emperor Hadrian, the dude quashed this revolt called the Bar Kokhba revolt. Jewish people fled, and Hadrian be all like, you know what, we need to eliminate the Jewish connection to this place, so why don't we call this place Syria Palestina, which he did, while by the way, a lot of the Jewish people actually stayed, blended, intermixed, and later on pretty much integrated into the land over the course of generations. While by the way, the Jewish people who fled overseas were basically living in different places long before the Aliyah for hundreds upon hundreds of years until one fine day this Zionism thing came along and then they decided to come back into this place, the homeland of their ancestors. Do you get it? Neither of them are pendatangs. They all started from the same origin, some migrated away, and now they're meeting back at the end of the line. It's kind of like if, let's say, I, as a Malaysian, I migrate to Australia, for example, 3 generations pass, my great-grandchildren come along, somebody asks them, so where's your family originally from? It is correct for them to say, oh, we descended from the line of the Sepoops in this place called Malaysia. I have Malaysian heritage. It's not a false statement. But now here we are with this journalist who didn't do any research on that, couldn't tell that story. Rextan went full retard. Somehow decided to make this question about the Chinese the central focus of a forum that wasn't even related to that in the first place. Wow. Good job. But to be completely fair, he's not alone. Do you all remember the case of the Palestine gaslighting of Marzouk Shari? If you don't, then remember this for a quick bit right here, where this one Sepoop was basically talking about how, oh, I'm sorry, the Malays are like the Palestinians in their own land. Oh, it is actually horrible and terrible. There were a couple of calls for investigations, so I hope that Rextan is gonna get the same treatment there, which is to say that if you're going to investigate Rextan, fire him from FMT and stuff like that, maybe what you should also do is you should investigate Marzouk Shari and fire him from PAS. I mean, isn't it more important for our Wakil Rakyat to know the facts than for journalists to know the facts? Oh wait, don't answer that. But anyway, I think it is a fact right, that pretty much every single racial community in Malaysia feels like they are victimized and likes to play victim, talking about how they are terpaling persecuted. To be totally fair, in some cases, as Hokkien people might say, this one is actually 五亚one. There are really some racist people out there who want to cause division in our society, are xenophobic, keep on screaming pendatang day in and day out, but making a dumb comparison that you didn't even research and trying to use that to make your point is really not a very bright thing for Rex Tan to have done. It remains to be seen whether he will get fired for going full retard. But yeah, basically the entire world right now is going out and doxing him, sharing pictures about him, discussing the fact that he is a lepasan UEC. And yeah, bro, you better apologize and you better come out and retract your statement, because this is not a normal cancellation. I do think it's a bit of a shame because I have met Rex Tan at a couple of events on occasion. I know that the guy is a very hardworking person. He goes for the event, immediately starts typing 1 hour, 2 hours later an article is just already out. But clearly, being hardworking and wearing a keffiyeh doesn't mean you get to ask dumb questions like the one he did. And it's a good reminder that stupidity is something that extends across all races and religions. But I hope you're safe out there. But yeah, stupid take. Alright, Sapoops, so what do you think about this whole drama at the moment and about the Palestine mistake of FMT? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye.